28 years later, The Bone Temple just released its first trailer. We had like a big review for the first movie. We're really looking forward to it. And, a lot to love, a lot to not love in that film. And this sequel seems to continue that trend, promising very cool visuals and also a story that, could really work, but also it's kind of confusing. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, funnily enough, I rewatched 28 Years Later 2 or 3 weeks ago because my brother hadn't seen it, so we rewatched it again. And on that second watch, it really did drop down in quality for me.
Really?
In a similar way, I still enjoy that first 40 minutes or however long it is. We're introduced to the island and we get Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Spike and their relationship, and it's built like a coming of age story, and then obviously it switches at that point. And a lot of people have said that they didn't enjoy that switch either. And yeah, on second watch, that second half of the film grew even more tedious, and the flash and unique style wasn't as fresh anymore, and it was less exciting, and it was telling me that maybe a lot of the stuff I enjoyed was a bit superficial about the first one. But yeah, I think especially with where the first film left off, it didn't leave me in an incredibly exciting place for, I can't wait to find out what Jimmy and the gang are doing in 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. But, it's coming around quick. It's already coming out in January. They shot them back to back. This one's being directed by Nia DaCosta. Still written by Alex Garland, I believe.
Yeah, both him and Danny Boyle are like executive producers on the project, I believe.
Yeah, so I have my concerns even more so for this one if we're going to dive deeper into the stuff that I thought wasn't as good even in the first film. But the trailer looks, again, I suppose you said it perfectly. The trailer looks visually really interesting, but I'm not exactly excited for the direction it's going to go in.
It's interesting that you say, I haven't rewatched the movie yet. I definitely will before the second one comes out, but I feel like on a second watch, it would probably be a better time, because so much of what I kind of questioned or didn't quite like the first time around was the stuff that I wasn't really expecting. I'm glad that I had the chance to chat about this movie, the first one, I mean, with you. And now I know, for example, who Jimmy Saviles is or was, and what it means for the culture the movie is set in. That shit confused a lot of people in the theater, myself included, and I know that a lot of non-Brits found it confusing. The ending in general was such a whiplash compared to what came before. I know you said the second half of the movie as a whole, like the stuff with the mother and Ralph Fiennes worked.
The baby,
yeah, worked less for you compared to the first half, and I tend to agree, even though, I thought Jodie Comer gave a great performance and there were a few redeeming qualities to that second half. But now that I know all that stuff about Jimmy Saviles and what it means for the story, I actually am really curious to see where they're going with this. It's clear to me that they want to, show a place. The UK, has been stuck in time for decades, stuck in the past in a way. And I want to see how they connect this concept back to the real world. Like I'm guessing, maybe it's gonna be some kind of Brexit metaphor. I don't know, because the world outside keeps going. We've seen the soldier character in the first film. They have smartphones and technology and influencers. Britain instead, they still has Power Rangers and Teletubbies and Jimmy Saviles. So guessing this stuff will be important. We see our main boy Alfie with the blonde wig and chain and the outfit, and it's so ridiculous.
He's fully joined the gang already. Maybe there's a bit of a time jump between this and where we picked up at the very end of the last film. But I mean, you said it confused you. It confused everyone, even if you know who Jimmy Savile is.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, and I suppose it kind of gives you a bit of an inkling to tell you that Jack O'Connell and his crew, they're going to be villains.
Yeah, of course.
You can't be humanizing Jimmy Savile. That's no filmmaker can do that. Even Danny Boyle. So they're going to be villains. We obviously have the story beat of the dad. At the very end, he runs out to the water, and we get the sense that he's going to go on his mission to try and find Spike. And so you've got that all bubbling under the surface, and then obviously you've got Dr. Kelson, the doctor doctor out in the woods with his like bone temple. And yeah, I'm not really sure how that's going to play too much into everything.
I mean, the movie is called The Bone Temple, so I'm guessing it's going to be a major
Yeah,
role
yeah.
in the story.
I just don't. Everything seems a bit disjointed at the moment, so it'll be. I am intrigued to see how they try and piece this all together. But this is probably something. Yeah, obviously, you're only seeing a trailer, but it should have been done all in one film potentially. You know, maybe simplify the idea of what that first film was, and you could have incorporated Jimmy's gang into it and more of Ralph Fiennes, because he's really only in it for the last 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I feel like maybe this was an idea that's been stretched out into a trilogy when maybe it's not got enough substance to be stretched out to a trilogy, but we will see.
If the second movie comes out and it's very boring and uneventful, then I will agree with you. But I feel like the first movie has enough stuff, and again, I haven't rewatched it, but like everything that didn't really work for me was the very beginning and the very end, because they felt like they were from a different movie, and it turns out they kind of actually are, because they are stuff that sets up the second film. So I don't know. This movie might suck. We don't know that yet. At least it's original. At least it's trying something different. I am curious. I'm willing to be surprised. Speaking of the trailer, I think this is the same guy who edited the first one.
Okay, interesting. It's definitely, as we mentioned, that trailer was a masterpiece, the first trailer.
I mean, I'm assuming because, similarly to the trailer for the first 20 years later movie, this trailer was really good. I feel like we are less excited because we know what comes before this.
I think stylistically it's still good, but it doesn't, it's that first trailer went pretty viral, and a lot of people were talking about it purely on just how not because people are clamoring to see 28 years as a franchise is back. I think just because that trailer was so fucking epic was why it did so well.
Yeah, the first one had Taylor Holmes reading Rudyard Kipling's poem Boots.
Yeah, exactly, which was the real hook.
Yeah, well, here we have Arthur C. Clarke talking about the future of mankind with the song Conversation with That by Berzilia Wallen playing in the background. So, similar vibes, but I guess the Boots poem, which was also featured in the film, just has that impact that is not felt in this new version of that idea, I guess. Like voiceover commenting on the scenes of lost civilization, I guess. But it's a continuation of the first movie, so it makes sense to have that similar tone and approach.
Yeah, and I do find the world interesting. The things I enjoyed most about the first film were more of the world building stuff, the evolution of the virus and things like that, and now they can give birth. Maybe if we get a bit more into that, I can be back on board with it, because there was some interesting things they were doing with it. And there's a couple of moments in the trailer where they suggest that the evolution of the virus is still continuing, and maybe, these alphas are going to potentially start talking or be able to communicate or have a higher level of intelligence than we first realized. And so there's some interesting things they could do with that for sure.
Yeah, we do see Ralph Fiennes developing some sort of relationship with the alpha zombie. I think the name that they give him is Samson. It looks like these advanced zombies are smarter than regular zombies. They have emotions and feelings, and he clearly cared about the baby in the first movie. So I'm definitely curious to see where they're going with this. And speaking of Samson, which was kind of like the meme coming out of the cinema for the first movie, I love this trailer's comment section. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
I bet it's talking a lot about dongs.
I'm ready to see Samson take some big swings in the acting department again. I did hear he has a major part, and he kind of stood in calling it a bone temple. He also had a major member helping him on set. And then we also have classic party pooper, no fun allowed guy commenting prosthetic, which, Walter E. Kurtz, we know that. We know it's not a real penis.
What are you talking about? Don't body shame that man. That's his fucking real dong.
Anyway. Yeah, good trailer. Excited for this movie. Not as excited as I was for the first 20 years later movie, but still very curious to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that it's coming out after 7 months and not 5 years.
That's the best thing it's got going for it. It's 7 months between releases. It's going to be out in January. It's still going to be within the public sphere of people's thinking, and hope maybe it'll still do well. But yeah, we'll definitely be watching it, and we'll be having a review for you on that one too.
Yes. So stay tuned.
Are you ready?